All right, thank God for fantasy football season. I'm Buster Brown, and the show, it's called Redemption Rehab. And if you tuned in today, it's because you want to do one thing, and that's start winning money in fantasy football. Today, we're talking about my top picks in daily fantasy football that'll help you get the job done. So let's head over to the chalkboard
and check out the facts.
All right, welcome back to fantasyfootballredemptionrehab.com. That's the website behind me. If you have trouble finding us, just look at the link below or like us on Facebook. We're really easy to find. Today, we're talking daily fantasy football and the players we like to help you win some cash on Fanduel. We'll also be analyzing our top 10 position players to see how those guys fit into our salary cap on Fanduel. But before we do that, let's head over to mybookie.ag and check out what games will score the most points in Week 8 to help us
take home the cash.
Okay, here we are on mybookie.ag, and we're looking at the lines over here to the right side of the screen and the total points that possibly could be scored in each game. Like the New York Giants and the Detroit Lions, the over-under in that game is 49.5 points. I am going to target players in this game possibly that I could fit in on my salary cap because the total points is about 50 points. I want players that are going to score a lot of points, and this website suggests there'll be at least 50 points scored. So I want players in this game. Let's check out some other games, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Tennessee Titans, where the over-under is 45. That's not too bad. We might want some players in this game. Or how about the Los Angeles Chargers against the Chicago Bears? The over-under in this game is only 40. So I'm going to try to avoid taking too many players in this game or none at all. Or how about the New York Jets against the Jacksonville Jaguars? The over-under in this game is 41.5. This is another low-scoring game, so I'm probably going to avoid taking players in this game also. The next game is the Philadelphia Eagles against the Buffalo Bills. 43 points is the total that mybookie.ag thinks will be scored in this game, but I still may take somebody if I find good value. Here we have the Cincinnati Bengals flying out to the Los Angeles Rams. The over-under in this game is 48.5. That's a lot of points. So I'll be targeting players in this game if I get the chance. And the game of the week that you want to target is the Oakland Raiders going down to play the Houston Texans. The over-under in this game is 51.5. You should be targeting players on FanDuel in this game because the total points may go over 50. The next game on the list is the Carolina Panthers against the San Francisco 49ers. Two good defenses in this game. As you can see, the over-under is only 41, so I'm not going to be targeting a lot of players in this game. The next game is the Denver Broncos against the Indianapolis Colts. The over-under in this game is 43.5, so there are some players I do like, possibly be targeting them in this game. The next game would be the Cleveland Browns against the New England Patriots. The over-under is 46. That's kind of high. So I do like this game, and I'll be targeting players in this game also. And the last game I want to show you is the Monday night game between the Miami Dolphins and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The over-under is 42.5. Might be targeting some players in this game. It's kind of low, but I don't want to have too many. So let's head over to RT Sports and check out the position rankings and how we can fit them in to our salary cap on FanDuel. Okay, here we are at RT Sports. These are the position rankings for quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and below that would be tight ends, defenses, and kickers. So let's start out by taking a look at our top 10 quarterbacks. As you can see over here, Aaron Rodgers on down to Matt Ryan, who's possibly out this week. So we'll head down to Teddy Bridgewater as our top 10 quarterbacks we're going to be targeting on FanDuel. Let's head over to FanDuel and check out which one of these quarterbacks we intend to target. Here we are on Fanduel looking at their top 7 quarterbacks. Of course, Patrick Mahomes is not playing, and Jared Goff is not in RT Sports top 10. So let's take a look at the other 5 quarterbacks who I like all 5. Starting with Russell Wilson. He plays Atlanta in Seattle Sunday at 1 o'clock. He's going up against the last ranked opponent against quarterbacks in Atlanta, and he's $8,600. That's top dollar for a quarterback. I like him, and we're going to try to fit him into a lineup. The next quarterback I like a lot is Deshaun Watson. They have that game over 51 points total, so he's going up against Oakland in Houston at 4:25 on Sunday. He's going up against the 30th ranked opponent against quarterbacks, and he's got a hefty salary of $8,400. I'm going to try to fit him in my lineup too because of the point total for the first 2 quarterbacks I mentioned are well over 50 points. I didn't show you earlier, but the over-under in the Seattle-Atlanta game, which wasn't on the website, is like 54 points. So it meets all the criteria I'm looking for in a quarterback on FanDuel. The next quarterback I like, of course, is Aaron Rodgers. He plays Kansas City Sunday night at 8 o'clock. His opponent ranked Kansas City is 19th against quarterback, and he's got a hefty salary of $8,000. The over-under in that game is 48. The last 2 that I like, starting with Tom Brady. He plays Cleveland 4:25 on Sunday. The opponent rank is 22nd against quarterbacks, and he's a hefty $7,900. And the last quarterback I like is Matthew Stafford going up against a weak Giant defense. The Giants defense is ranked 21st against quarterbacks, and it's $7,700. Any of these quarterbacks, you're going to need between 21 and 25 points if you take them. I like all 5 of these guys, and I plan on using them in my lineup this week. Let me show you some sleeper quarterbacks you should be thinking about, but you're taking a chance on taking in week 8 of the NFL season. If those quarterbacks I just showed you are too much money and you want to save some money to get some other players you like later in FanDuel on your roster, I would suggest these 2 quarterbacks. The first one is Ryan Tannehill, who's taking over from Marcus Mariota in Tennessee. He's playing Tampa Bay at 1 o'clock on Sunday. His opponent rank against quarterbacks is 27th, and his salary is only $6,900, so you do save a ton of money. He's not ranked in the top 10, but he does meet the rest of our criteria, and he does like to throw the ball downfield. But one of the games that I mentioned earlier was the Raider game against Houston Texans, and I do like Derek Carr going up against Houston at 4:25 on Sunday. The opponent rank is 26th against the quarterbacks, and his salary is $6,900 too, so I can suggest these 2 quarterbacks if you need to save some money. But that's as far down this list as I'm willing to go. When we come back, we're going to be checking out the rankings for running backs on RT Sports. Okay, here we are back on RT Sports, and we're looking at the top 10 rankings, starting with Christian McCaffrey and working our way down to Austin Eckler. Any of these guys should do good according to RT Sports. It's just whether or not we can fit him into our model. So let's see who we like and who we can fit in our salary cap on FanDuel for week 8. Okay, the first running back I want to show you today is the incomparable Saquon Barkley for the New York Giants. He's going up against the 30th ranked opponent, and his salary is a whopping $8,600. I really like him a lot. I suggest we put him in our lineup if we can fit him in. Let me show you a couple other guys I think you should be looking at for week 8 of the NFL season. I like Todd Gurley going up against Cincinnati. The opponent rank is the worst. It's 32nd. I don't know who else they got to run the ball with everybody banged up out there, so I think Todd Gurley's going to have a good game going up against a weak Cincinnati defense. And his salary shows it that he hasn't been playing well at $7,400, but I like him anyways, and I'm going to try to get him in as many lineups as I can. And the last one I want to show you at the top of this list is right here. It's James Conner. It says here he's got a quadricep injury, but I think he'll be okay for Monday night. He plays Miami on Monday night. His opponent rank is 31st, and his salary is only $7,000. He's in RT Sports top 10, and I really like him a lot. So I'm trying to get these 3 running backs in my lineup if I can for week 8. Let me give you some sleeper picks that may help you for week 8 of the NFL season. A couple other running backs I like for week 8 of the NFL season. One of them is James White. He plays for the New England against Cleveland at 4 o'clock on Sunday. He's going up against the 26th opponent against running backs, and his salary is only $6,000. He does catch the ball out of the backfield a lot, and Fanduel does not give a point per reception to these guys. However, I do think he might get in the end zone, and I could see him with 6 or 7 catches this week. If I find myself in a pinch where I need to cut some salary, I'm going with Ty Johnson of the Detroit Lions. He's playing Sunday at 1 o'clock against the New York Giants. He's going up against the 28th opponent rank against running backs, and he's only $5,200. Someone's going to get to tote the ball and score some points. So if you need 2 solid running backs that are cheap, I would consider one of these 2 this Sunday. Let's head over to RT Sports and check out some wide receiver ranking that'll help us decide who we're going to take in week 8 of the NFL season. Okay, here we are back on RT Sports checking out the position rankings for wide receivers. Let's take a look at their top 10. It goes here from Michael Thomas all the way down this list till we get down to John Brown. There's some players in this top 10 that are relatively cheap on Fanduel and I like a lot. Any of these players are going to score a lot of points. But let's see who we could fit into our lineup that is in the top 10 on this list. Okay, the first one I want to show you on this list, and he's not exactly having his best year, is DeAndre Hopkins. He's due for a big game, and he could get it this Sunday against Oakland at 4 o'clock. He's going up against the 29th ranked opponent against wide receivers, but he's a whopping $8,200. He fits all the criteria, and if I can get him in my lineup, it's a done deal. Let me show you some other wide receivers I really like. They're a lot more affordable for week 8. Let's take a look at Tyler Lockett of the Seattle Seahawks. If I go with Russell Wilson as my quarterback, I want to stack it with the wide receiver, and my guy in Seattle is Tyler Lockett. He's playing against Atlanta at 1 o'clock on Sunday in Atlanta, and the opponent rank is 28th, which is really good, and his salary is a lot less. It's only $7,200, and if I have Russell Wilson as my quarterback, I want to stack it with Tyler Lockett. Another wide receiver I like a lot this week is Kenny Golladay of the Detroit Lions. He plays against the poor secondary of the New York Giants this Sunday at 1 o'clock. The Giants are the 25th ranked opponent against wide receivers, and his salary is only $6,700. He didn't have such a great week last week against Minnesota, but I think you'll see him make it up this week. And if I have Matthew Stafford, which I suggested as your quarterback earlier, I'm putting Kenny Golladay on the same team so I can get double my points when they both score. Let me show you another wide receiver that could help you in week 8 of the NFL season, and that's Julian Edelman. He plays Cleveland this Sunday at 4 o'clock. The opponent ranks kind of high, and Cleveland is getting back a couple of their secondary players that they haven't had all year, but the salary is only $6,600, and he's having a good year. So if I have Tom Brady, who I suggested you have as our quarterback, I plan on stacking him with Julian Edelman on the same team. Let me give you some other wide receivers you should be considering in week 8 of the NFL season. Okay, let me give you a couple other wide receivers that I really like that were in the top 10 on RT Sports. One of them is Courtland Sutton. Courtland Sutton plays for the Denver Broncos. They're playing the Indianapolis Colts Sunday at 1 o'clock. He's going up against the 21st ranked opponent against wide receivers, and his salary is only $6,000. They traded the other wide receiver in Denver, Emmanuel Sanders, today, so he's even going to get more targets. Let me show you another wide receiver I really like this week also, and that's John Brown of the Buffalo Bills. They play a weak Philadelphia secondary at 1 o'clock, and his opponent rank is 32nd against wide receivers. They also are getting back some of their secondary, so I do like John Brown. I don't think anybody there can guard him, and his salary is only $5,900, and he's also in the top 10 on RT Sports. Let me give you some wide receivers that are sleeper picks that may help you in Week 8. One of the receivers I plan on stacking with Deshaun Watson when he's in my lineup is Kenny Stills of the Houston Texans. He's going up against Oakland at 425 on Sunday. The opponent rank is 29th, and his salary is only $5,700. But I like him a lot because Will Fuller is probably not going to play this Sunday, and they're going to rely a lot on Kenny Stills and Kiki Kute to make up the difference with Will Fuller out of the lineup. I do like him a lot, and I plan on stacking him with every lineup I have Deshaun Watson in. Let's head over to RT Sports and check out their top 10 tight ends for Week 8 of the NFL season. Okay, here we are back on RT Sports looking at their top 10 tight end rankings. As you can see, they start out again with Austin Hooper from Atlanta and work their way down this list until they get down here to TJ Hawkinson. I do like a lot of these guys, but I'm going to try to limit it to the top 5, and the one I really like a lot is Travis Kelce on Fanduel. And let's go over to Fanduel and I'll show you why. Okay, here we are back on Fanduel looking at their top 5 tight ends. And I told you before, I really like Travis Kelce. He's going up against the Green Bay Packers Sunday night at 8 o'clock. The Green Bay Packers are the 25th ranked opponent against tight ends, and his salary is only $6,600. The drawback, he's playing with a quarterback that's not Patrick Mahomes. Unfortunately, he got hurt last week and he's not expected to play. The quarterback is Matt Moore, but I think he's going to have to dump the ball off to Travis Kelce and run the ball a lot. I doubt they're going to put him in the position to try to be the next Patrick Mahomes and throw the ball downfield. So I do think they'll do more of a ball control offense, and I think that benefits Travis Kelce. But let me give you a couple other tight ends I really like this week in case you don't agree with me, like Hunter Henry of the Los Angeles Chargers. They play Chicago at 1 o'clock. They're going up against the 22nd ranked defense against tight ends, and his salary is only $6,700, and I do like his chances. And the last one is the number 1 ranked tight end again this week on RT Sports, and that's Austin Hooper. Austin Hooper's playing against Seattle at 1 o'clock in Atlanta this weekend. Seattle is the 30th ranked defense against tight ends, and his salary is only $6,600. I could see doing that also this week. But my favorite is clearly Travis Kelce. I think he has a big week, and that's who I plan on using in most of my lineups if I can fit him in under the salary. So let's head back over to RT Sports and look at our last thing we always look at, which is defense. Okay, here we are back on RT Sports checking out their top 10 defenses. I usually try to stay in the top 5, but sometimes if I have to cut salary, I have to do it on defense. I do like New England, Jacksonville. Minnesota is playing Washington. They play on Thursday, so they will not be in our tournament. Neither will be any of their players. I'm not so sure about Buffalo. I do like the Rams, probably my favorite. And if I had to take a chance on a defense that's down at the bottom, it's New Orleans against Arizona. I do think New Orleans could put up some points against Arizona in Arizona this week. So let's head back over to Fanduel and see what these guys have cost us to put in our lineup in Week 8. Okay, my top 2 favorites are always this week are the Rams playing Cincinnati in Los Angeles. The opponent rank is 27th and the salary's $5,000. That's pretty steep. And of course, you always got to love the Patriots. They've been scoring me 15 to 25 points every week. The problem is they're $5,000 also, and they're going up against Cleveland at 425, who's the 26th ranked opponent against offenses. So I do like those 2 a lot. Unfortunately, I can't see putting them in many lineups because they cost so much money. So what I have been doing is running down the list, and let me show you the 2 teams I've been using in most of my lineups that I think will also have a good week and are also in the top 10 on RT Sports. The 2 teams I like this week that are both in the top 10 on RT Sports are the Jacksonville Jaguars and the New Orleans Saints. Jacksonville's playing the Jets at 1 o'clock, and anybody that plays the Jets, whether or not they got their quarterback back or not, doesn't matter. It seems to put a whooping on them. The Jets are the 32nd ranked offense against defenses, and they're only $4,500, so that's good. And New Orleans plays Arizona at 1 o'clock in New Orleans. I do like New Orleans a lot, especially at home. They're going up against the 19th ranked opponent, and they're only 4,400. So let's see how we're going to get some of these players that we talked about this week into our lineup on Fanduel. Okay, here's one of the lineups I like a lot. Most of the players that I have in here are listed in the RT Sports top 10, starting with Deshaun Watson, top 10, Shaq Barkley, James Conner, both top 10. Kenny Stills is not. Cortland Sutton, John Brown, Travis Kelce, and the New Orleans Saints all made the top 10, where Todd Gurley was 13th ranked running back on RT Sports. Let me give you a couple more lineups that you may want to consider with different quarterbacks and see how I stack them this week on Fanduel. Okay, here's another lineup I came up with on Fanduel. I'm stacking Russell Wilson with Tyler Lockett. I kept the same 2 running backs. I also like Cortland Sutton, John Brown, Travis Kelce. I got all these guys the same as my other lineup. The only thing I changed in this lineup compared to the one I just showed you was I stacked Russell Wilson with Tyler Lockett. Let me show you a couple more lineups before we end this. Okay, with this lineup, we took out the quarterbacks and a wide receiver, and we stacked them, Tom Brady and Julian Edelman. We kept our running backs the same, Barkley and Conner. Kenny Stills and John Brown, we kept in there also. And we kept Travis Kelce the same. But we were able to get Todd Gurley in there, who we really like. And we had to go down to Buffalo's defense. And let me show you my last lineup I plan on playing in tournaments for week 8. Okay, here's another lineup. I did the same thing here. I switched out the quarterback and I stacked him with Kenny Golladay, but the rest of the lineup is basically the same with Barkley and Conner. I've got Kenny Stills and John Brown in there, Travis Kelce, Todd Gurley, and this time I have New Orleans defense in there. I think this lineup also I'll play in some tournaments just to see if I can get lucky. I do like all 4 lineups, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, there you have it. That's Fanduel for week 8. If you get a chance, go to the website, check it out. We've got a link below, or like us on Facebook. You can always check out any video over here. Just click on the week and it'll show you our daily fantasy picks for that week, or waiver wire picks. In case you didn't see that video, we do waiver wire videos also. All you got to do is click on the week. I'm Buster Brown. The show's Redemption Rehab. Good luck.